All right, man, we are back again with Big B Bets. Good weekend of college football this weekend. Man, last weekend we were 3-2-1. Notre Dame, come on, man. Blew it at the end, gave us a push. Otherwise, we'd have been 4-2. But while the slate is not quite as good as it was last week, there are still some good college football games. Let's take a look at it and let's go get this cash. All right, man. First game, we got Utah going to Oregon State. Oregon State is favored by 3.5, so it's minus 3.5 Oregon State, and I like it. Both these teams are physical football teams. They're going to play some good defense, but man, Utah's not going to be able to score even if Cam Rising comes back, and that's a big if. He's still going to be rusty. Oregon State plays physical football. I like Oregon State minus the 3.5. Now let's get this one out of the way. Look, last week I took Colorado. I thought, hey, man, they'll score a late touchdown to be able to cover the minus 21 point. Turns out they did score that late touchdown, but they were already getting their head beaten in, and it didn't matter. This week, I'm going back to the well. I think Colorado keeps this one closer. I still think USC wins, and I don't even think the game will necessarily even be that close, to be honest with you. I think USC wins. I think Colorado scores late, a late touchdown, covers the 21.5 at home. That's crazy. But bottom line is, I think Colorado covers. I like Colorado plus 21.5. Oh, now look, y'all know that I hate all things Kentucky, but they're going to end up beating Florida. I like Kentucky in this game -1. They're at home. I don't even know how Florida's ranked. I mean, let's just be honest. They beat a way overrated Tennessee team, but because they're in the SEC, we got to throw them in the rankings. Kentucky's going to beat Florida, and then Kentucky's going to be ranked. It's just absolute nonsense. But the bottom line is Kentucky wins this one, -1 at home. I like Kentucky. Now, here's a game, tricky. Now, y'all know I don't like Kansas either, being that I played at Kansas State, so I'm not a fan of the Jayhawks. But Kansas has got a decent football team this year, man. They're good. And this one, Texas is favored by 16.5. I don't like it. And usually I'll never pick KU, but I'm taking KU. I like KU. Their offense is going to score. Their defense is a little better than what you think, although Texas is good. Texas is a good football team. There's no doubt about it. But Kansas is going to be able to keep this game a lot closer than what Vegas thinks. Minus 16.5. That's crazy. Give me the Jayhawks plus 16.5 on the road. Now, this is a game between ranked teams. But now whether they should be ranked, or should I say whether Ole Miss should be ranked, that's a different conversation for a different day. But here they are. LSU going to Ole Miss. LSU minus 2.5. Look, there's still a ton of people that like LSU and think that the Florida State game was just an aberration. I'm not sure, but what I do know is Ole Miss has no business being ranked. LSU is better than they are. Even though they're going to Ole Miss, I like LSU minus 2.5. And for the last game, man, who would have ever thought that game day is going to an undefeated ranked Duke when Notre Dame coming to town? Vegas likes Notre Dame. They like them to bounce back. They have Notre Dame on the road as a 5.5 point favorite. And Notre Dame's going to get physical with Duke. They're going to come out and just try to run the ball right down their throat. Personally, I think the same thing. Give me Notre Dame minus 5.5 in this one. I think Notre Dame's just too good, and they're going to humble Duke a little bit. Going to humble them.